This is another RTF Show op-ed. The red jacket. Roses are red. Trophies are imaginary. As I sit once again in the winner's lounge, air hazy with cigar smoke and heavy with history, I can't help but notice something missing. Not the camaraderie, that's alive and well. Not the tradition, that endures. But something physical, tangible, something earned. For all our self-described greatness, for the tales we tell of our titans, Peter, Josh, John, and Jake. The Rose Tackle Football League remains curiously minimalist. No trophies, no banners, not even a plaque to mark our triumphs. We are, in essence, a Hall of Fame without a hall. And yet, perhaps fittingly, the solution lies within our own league name. Roses are red. So too should be our legacy. I propose the creation of the red jacket, the highest honor a manager can receive in the RTFL, a symbol of excellence. Bestowed each season upon the new champion, placed ceremoniously upon their shoulders by the previous year's winner. A lineage of glory, stitched in crimson fabric. Each champion would receive their own jacket, not a relic passed along, but a token of immortality, a wearable reminder for that one season they stood above the chaos and emerged as champion. And with that jacket comes access, true access to the winner's lounge. Not the metaphorical one I speak from today, but a real one, a group meet thread reserved only for those who have reached the summit. No trade spam, no questions, only the sound of veterans clinking imaginary glasses and the faint echo of laughter from those who already know how the story ends. Let the rest of the league chase their roses, but for those of us who have already bloomed, it's time we looked the part. The jacket should be red, the ceremony should be sacred, and the winner's lounge should finally open its doors. Mike and Brother John, back to you. Jake Ostro from the winner's lounge, where the trophies never forget.
Welcome back to another edition of the RTF Show Playoff Edition.
Hell yeah.
The playoffs officially start today when you are listening to this. I'm in it. First time
I'm in it.
John's in it.
Oh yeah.
Again. Ken's in it. Steve's in it. Alec is in it.
Oh, Steve's in it.
Doug is in it. Steve is in it. We're going to get to all that. What you just heard, though, was an op-ed by last year's champion, Jake Ostro. The Roses Are Red winner's circle idea. I have to say, I love it.
I thought it was great.
I'm not wearing this red jersey for any reason other than it is my Montana, Joe Montana, Kansas City Chiefs jersey. It's in honor of our boy coming out of retirement, Phillip Rivers. Over the hill quarterbacks. But I love it. What do you think, John?
I mean, I'm definitely into it. I thought it was the perfect start to the playoff season. I think it got me right in the feels. It put me right in the right headspace to lock in for the playoffs. Not all of us are fortunate enough to get a bye. Going into this week, and so some of us have some very real matchups that we must contend in, and so having this idea, this proclamation. I love it. I think a separate group me message group just for the winners, I think is very good. There's going to be a lot of good stuff going on in there. And then obviously a red jacket would be wonderful. I think I need something to wear on the show week in and week out that gives me those warm feels. So I do love it. I think it's perfect idea.
I think we shall look into that over the next couple of weeks and see what we can do. I agree. It's a great idea. We're in the playoffs. The playoffs have started. But I want to just go back 1 week. Last Sunday, fired up for a Bears-Packers game. Fired up for the end of the regular season for fantasy football. I was let down in both instances. I think you were as well. The Bears-Packers game, I will just say, as disappointing as the loss was, especially the way in which it ended, man, I didn't want to say it, but before that game, I was just so worried they were going to lose, 28-7 or something.
It looked that way going into the second half.
Know.
For sure.
I know.
I mean,
and the fact that they made it a game and it came down to that, one last play, essentially, was it felt pretty good. I'm
okay with it.
Me too.
I'm okay with it. My expectation of the season was 7 wins. We are 2 wins above that.
Yep.
We hung with the Packers. I feel like we can come back and play just as well, if not better, in 2 weeks. And so, it is what it is. It definitely was a little disappointing. Obviously, got my hopes up there, but it is what it is. We're gonna move forward. So
the other thing I just find funny is a lot of hay has been made of Ben Johnson calling out Matt LaFleur, whatever, at the beginning of the season. And all he had said was like, I enjoy beating Matt LaFleur. I can't say his name. Twice a year. And it seems as though the Packers have really lit a fire under their ass.
It did.
So whatever.
Oh my God, there was so much of that was so disrespectful. That was so disrespectful.
Yeah,
it's
I don't really
you
understand
motherfuckers were like, we own you. We own your city. Everyone just owns you. It's like, that's like, now you're fucking like calling like fucking, talk about a glass house. Like, it's fucking cheesehead fucking, fucking. I can't even finish my sentence. These fucking guys got me all annoyed.
It was it was pretty funny, actually. I saw this on I wanted to pull this up. I saw this on Reddit earlier today, and thought it might be good fodder for the show for a second, because it. So this is I don't know if you saw this. This is Pro Football.
Oh, it did.
Most viewed players broken down by state. Really quite enjoyed that Packer fans are still fawning over Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, I know. They can't get past it. They know that Jordan Love's not bringing them to the promised land. They know it.
That's just for you, Steve. Name Peter. Really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah.
It does make me wonder how many of those views Steve has contributed to.
I'm I'm sure. He's got stats cooking about how Jordan Love is better than Aaron Rodgers. But he needs to go to the Aaron Rodgers page to figure that out.
I know.
I did find it fascinating that also the Washington had Russell Wilson as the most looked up player.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're still fawning over Russell Wilson. And then Oregon, I don't know if you noticed that was Tom Brady was the most looked up player, which okay. We're doing over here. I mean, Fitz and Porter don't live here, so I don't know why that's popping up. But it was an interesting little breakdown. All right. More importantly, the final week of the RTFL season happened last week. Steve has continued his improbable run through this season. Steve, a team that we thought basically was selling off and playing for next year, and then made some confusing moves, I think, down the stretch, or not down the stretch, at towards the beginning of the season, but has found himself in the playoffs. Put an ass whooping on me last week and secured his spot over Kelly. John, what do you make of Steve's season, and is he a contender? Setting aside the fact that I'm playing him this week, I think Steve's team is frustratingly dangerous. And it continues to be on the backs of players that come out of nowhere, right? I mean, you had Christian Watson with a 2-touchdown game this week. RJ Harvey put up 1 touchdown, but 75 yards and 25 yards through the air. Manungai in weeks past has put up monster numbers, and so just a perplexing. I think this week alone was perplexing, but down the stretch, very, very. I would say a very storied run. I think this is probably one of the most improbable playoff clinching teams in RTFL history.
Agreed. And Steve did it. He really cobbled this team together, and it's performing at just the right time. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. We'll break down a little bit of the matchups coming next week. But before we do so, we did, I believe, a little bit last week of a autopsy on Peter's team. I want to perform a autopsy on Kelly's team for just one moment, and maybe pat myself on the back for predicting a couple things. We can have our archivist, Jake Ostro, go back through, and Peter Kramer go back through the tapes of past shows. Actually, I was thinking Jake has clipped a number of shows. It would be funny if he started a RTFL clip show in which he just comments on this show.
Yeah. I like that. We can share with you the drive. With all the recordings, if you like. If you don't have that, obviously they're on YouTube. But you can also get the source files. To play around with for sure.
But Kelly, so after Kelly made her big trade, I believe I said my fear for Kelly is that she just pulled a 2023 Staley's. And it turns out that's exactly what she did. In 2023, I traded $61 for DeAndre Swift and Montgomery and Mahomes, and then proceeded to go shit the bed down the stretch and go 7-7. And it just so happens that a spoiler who was out of the playoffs named Jake Ostro put the final nail in the Staley's season coffin in 2023. Well, lo and behold, in 2025, Kelly trades $62 for what, I don't know, the entire Philadelphia Eagles team, and then proceeds to go 7-7. And as fate would have it, another spoiler named Jake Ostro put the nail in her coffin to end the 2025 RTFL season for the Narwhals. Tough sledding for Kelly. Tough sledding indeed.
So what you're telling me here is that, Jake's first season misses the playoffs, but crushes your playoff hopes. Mm-hmm. He also went on to win the Toilet Bowl, or the consolation bracket that year, notching his first championship, and then makes the playoffs.
I don't think that counts.
What do you get for that? Like a brown jacket?
Yeah, we can get a brown jacket for that.
We're gonna send you it's like a tiny one. It's like this big.
Yes,
it's like a Christmas ornament.
Yeah, exactly.
And then won the playoffs won the RTFL the next year, and then comes back and plays spoiler again. So, Jake is quite dangerous either way. Either if he's in it or he's out of it. You don't want to face him.
Seems to always be in the mix, no matter what's happening.
But what is Kelly going to do? I mean, what is Kelly going to do? The following year, when you leveraged your future, you ended up 4-10 on the season. You did not make the playoffs, obviously, with that record. Can Kelly turn it around next year?
I'm not saying that Kelly should necessarily do what I did, because I think, as we see when we eventually talk about my team at some point, there's been some the Staleys have some problems, but that 4-10 record, I will say, I went into last season saying that was a reset year, that I was clearing the books and did not go after any huge talent in the draft, any high-priced guys. I went after low-priced guys, rookies for the most part, that I could keep on minimum deals, which is how I got BTJ and Bucky. And then guys like Higgins, who I thought might prove to be a good value down the line. I basically gave up on the last season before the season started. I don't know if that's Kelly's strategy. And I can't say that it's worked for me yet, because nothing's happened. So it'll be interesting to see which direction she goes in. If she doubles down, if she tries to contend, or tries to rebuild the team in some capacity for the future.
She has a lot of good assets on her team, so I could see her to move some players potentially, if possible, in the off season for sure. So I think she has potential to do a short rebuild and be back in it, even next year. So,
I mean, the Michael Wilson piece, which, I think fortunately for Kelly, she would, would she have won? She would have won if she played him over Debo.
No, I mean didn't she lose by like 30 points?
Yeah, but Michael Wilson put up 33. It would have been very close. Michael Wilson put up 33.7. If she had played him over Debo, I think she would have come up 1 point short.
Oh, I do. Yes, I do. I believe I got a text from Jake about that. Let me see here.
I
Also,
think she would have.
sorry, Kelly, but it's probably best you didn't start Wilson and Kincaid because I think I would have won by 1.5.
Yes, I
So,
think that's right.
yep.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
so she still
Kincaid.
would have, yeah. So she could have.
Mhm.
It started Wilson and Kincaid. She still would have, would have
Well,
lost by
the
1 point.
bigger question there then is, would it have affected her? I think Steve still would have had her in points. Yes, I
Yeah,
think Steve.
yeah, probably, yeah,
I
which
think
would have
Steve
been,
still would have had her in points. So
yeah,
even if she had put up all those points, 30 more points than she had, she still would have
God,
been on the
that would have
outside.
been,
But it
that would
would have
have
been a
felt
lot closer.
probably worse. Yeah, yeah,
But I
that
only
probably
say
would.
that because the Michael Wilson asset is a interesting asset. Um, you know, depending on what the hell happens with that Cardinals team. He's been amazing, basically, when they don't play the guy that they spent a ton of draft capital on.
Yeah. Like what? And who's going to be the quarterback next year? Like, is Brissett
Mhm.
going to get his chance? Like, is he gonna? I mean, is he
I mean,
going to
Brissett's
be
got
the
a lot of
starter?
chances, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Hasn't
yeah. That's the
he's
thing is, I don't think that there's like, yeah.
how old is
He's
Brissett now? He's 33. Yeah. I mean, he's had quite, I don't know. I can't imagine they see him as the long-term solution in Arizona. But maybe he's a gap, like a bridge the gap quarterback. I don't know.
yeah. He could get a start next year for sure.
Hmm. Okay. Well, Kelly, it'll be interesting. I'm sure we'll talk more about Kelly's team going into next season. It should be interesting to see what she does. But at the moment, oh, well, I guess we should say Ken. I guess we should
Yeah.
say that Ken took the number one seed.
Mhm.
Good for you, Ken. Good for you, man.
Yeah, and which was honestly a very frustrating game for me. Daniel Jones goes down
Hmm.
in the first quarter. Uh, I was in a bit of a bind. Jaden Reed got activated off IR, so needed to either roll with the team I had or drop somebody to make some changes. I decided to go with DJ, and which ended up being awful. And then, if I had decided to make a change and start Brissett, I think I would have beat him because Jalen Hurts turned in one of the worst NFL performances from a quarterback of all time.
Hmm.
4 interceptions, 1 fumble lost, and created history. As far as anyone can find, going back to the creation of the NFL, no quarterback or no person has ever thrown an interception and lost a fumble on the same play.
Yep.
An
Pretty
incredible
impressive.
2 turnover play by one player. That was an outstanding showing by Jalen Hurts, throwing 240 yards, yet only putting up 0.4 points less than DJ, and he, yeah. So
Pretty impressive that your two quarterbacks combined for just over 1 point.
mhm.
that is something else. Ken's team. We've talked, I think, a lot about Ken's team at various points throughout the year. Probably not as much as he would like us to have talked about his team.
Yeah.
And we will talk more about his team next week. But Ken had a hell of a team to start the year, and I think was the team that we put as the number one team all year. And it seems like things are starting to fire on all cylinders for Ken at the right time. We'll see if he can keep it up, but he's in a good situation. I would rather be in his shoes than my shoes at the moment, having a chance to play either Alec or Doug versus having a chance to play you or Steve. So with that said, let's jump ahead. Little bit of NFL news. What's going on in the NFL?
Well, I mean, yeah, we just mentioned Daniel Jones going down, and Riley Leonard stepped in for him. Notre Dame grad, who didn't look awful. He didn't look terrible, but he was the only quarterback on the team, I believe, going into this week. So they pulled out Grandpa Rivers. Grandpa Rivers. A literal grandfather, which is impressive. It appears that this is the season of the aging quarterback. We've seen quite a few of them have a resurgence at various points throughout the year. It's impressive. But it's like, I guess I think like in something that Philip has said in his press conferences is like, he's never been known for running. He's kind of a stone-footed guy, and so it's really like his physical shape.
His virility is what matters, right? Like
that guy. I mean, he's like a laser. He's just shooting it out. Still probably, but like he's not gonna be moving around in the pocket. He's gonna be slinging the football as fast as he possibly can out of the pocket. Which like that's probably pretty good for some of the fantasy assets on that team that are super relevant, right? So like, can JT continue his production, right? Which I think that they will continue to lean on him heavily. I'm pretty sure Philip can do a two-step drop and hand the ball off. Will Tyler Warren continue to get looks? Will Pittman? Will Alec Pierce? Like, I think, is provided that like short throws, getting the ball out of his hand quickly. Yes. Now, what happens when he takes a hit?
Yeah.
Will his bones just crumble? But also like, if you get the ball out fast, you don't get hit. Like, which, is kind of what we saw with Tom Brady at the age of 44 as well. So, a willingness to throw the ball away, throw it out, throw the ball fast. So we'll see. As of right now, they haven't named the starter though. So I don't know, who we will see on Sunday yet.
I mean, the one thing I think you're completely right, and I think the him getting the ball out fast is gonna be paramount. His arm strength is the thing that I think people are worried about, because even in his last year, which was 5 years ago, his arm strength clearly was not there. But the good news for them is that Indy does have a really good offensive line. They have one of the best offensive lines in the league. So if they can keep it together, we'll see. I don't know. All right, let's get into the playoffs. The matchups have been fixed on Sleeper, so they now reflect accurately what the playoff bracket is going to look like going into this week or to today when you're listening to this. And this is it. Ken holds the number 1 seed. I hold the 2 seed. The 4-5 matchup is Alec versus Doug, and the 3-6 matchup is you versus Steve. Which game do you want to start with?
I think we can go Doug, Alec. I think the 4-5 matchup is probably, I think, pretty enticing here.
Yeah. I'm intrigued by this. Alex had a quiet year, but he won 8 games, and his point total, though not crazy, I think has generally gotten a little bit better every week, if I remember from what I looked at earlier. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I like Alex's chances in this game. I think he certainly has a shot to win, but there's going to be some big factors here. He's been starting 2 tight ends for quite a while now, in Warren and Kittle. And he's going to need big games from both of them, and then he's going to need a huge game from Josh Allen, I think, in order to win this.
He's going to need a monster game from Josh Allen against New England, and I would love for our, either resident Josh Allen fans in, Ken and Jake, or our resident Patriots guys to weigh in on, in the chat after this, on sort of the history of Josh Allen versus the Patriots. Like how have he historically performed? I would be very interested to know. Obviously, with the arrival of Mike Vrabel to the Patriots, that probably changes things a little bit. I mean, especially when the defenses look pretty good. I mean, Belichick is obviously a great defensive coach, so scheming for Josh Allen is probably, has always been something that has been a priority there or has been prosperous. But I would love to know sort of how has he performed historically against the Patriots, and so is there opportunity for big game Josh Allen here, or are we looking at a sort of slowdown here? So,
I mean, I'll say I think the Bills are going to need it going into this game, and it's going to be tough sledding against that Patriots defense. But the Bills are going to need it for if they're going to win that game, and they need to win that game. It's a big thing for them.
Essentially, need to win out.
Yeah. On Doug's side, Doug has gotten huge performances throughout the year from McBride. I think we went over earlier in the season, McBride, the number 1 tight end, basically playing at a level above every other tight end. He had a down week last week, but he continues to get a ton of targets. And against Houston, that worries me a little bit on behalf of McBride. That Houston defense has been pretty good all year, but the bigger player I'm watching on Doug's team is this man right here, Devontae Adams, the best goal line back in the league.
100%.
Had a down game last week. He got banged. Did he get banged up right? I think he got
He had
banged.
a hamstring injury going into the game, and so I don't think
Mhm.
he didn't get used very much. He only was on the field for 43%
Yeah.
of snaps, and so I think they brought him in only for sort of that short yardage work. And he
So,
didn't score a touchdown, and that is
yeah.
reflected in his score. And
Mhm.
so I don't think you can sit him. On
No.
the basis that he is more than likely to get a touchdown or two. Now, I think like one thing that I am very interested in Doug's situation here is, his current lineup right now, with Kareem Hunt and Pearsall in, um, is it's a little perplexing to me almost, right? Kareem Hunt has not performed all that well. 8-9 points, which is not quite what you want to see in your RB2. But does get the carries, right? So that's kind of like
Mhm.
what you're banking on his volume. And then you've got Pearsall in here who has been atrocious since returning. To the NFL. And you got guys on the bench that I think are also a little touchdown dependent, right? In David Montgomery, who you could plug
Mhm.
in for Hunt or Pearsall. But then you've also got Isaiah Likely also sitting on the bench there, who seems to be the tight end one now in Baltimore, despite
Despite the contract that they just gave their
yeah,
32-year-old tight end. Yeah.
yes. And so kind of curious, see how he plays it. Are we gonna see a two tight end versus a two tight end playoff matchup here? Are we gonna have the 4 and the 5 seed both roll out two tight ends? Against each other, which for me, I would love to see. I would love to see that
Four
that
tight
that
ends
go down.
in
A four
this
tight
playoff
end
matchup.
game. Yeah. So will we see that? I
Think
think it's highly possible, and I think it might make sense for Doug to roll out McBride and Likely.
I think
What
that's
do you think?
a great question. And honestly, I could see it happen. I mean, the Baltimore Cincinnati game, you have to figure that's going to be a high scoring affair, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, it's Lamar Jackson not looked good of late. It's a get right game for him against a terrible defense. Assume um, you assume they're going to take advantage of that, and then you got to assume Cincinnati's going to put up a ton of points as well. So they're going to be throwing the ball, and likely, I would imagine, is going to have quite a few opportunities. Um, so I like the idea of putting Likely in his flex spot. I mean, the unfortunate thing for Doug is he doesn't really have a bunch of other options. His his bench is sort of um, crowded with he's rostering three tight ends. I'm not sure. I understand that Jaden Daniels been in and out all season, and with some annoying the way that sleepers, with
Who's
the way,
rostering
yeah,
three
yeah,
quarterbacks.
sorry, that's what I meant. Three
Yep.
quarterbacks with the way that sleepers IR or the IR settings are in this league. They didn't put him on IR. He's going to have to keep taking him on and off. So keeping three quarterbacks on your roster, and then I get he's rostering two defenses, likely because of playoff matchups. I
Yeah.
assume,
Yeah.
and I assume Doug just hasn't changed this out yet. I assume they'll drop the Browns. There's no reason to be rostering the Browns the rest of the season.
I
So
mean, maybe against Pittsburgh, I could see that being a good matchup there.
I mean, even so, well, I guess
yeah,
they play,
yeah,
but they play Indy
yeah, yeah.
week 17, so it's not like I don't know. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see where he goes from here. He doesn't have a lot of options at running back to plug in there. He's only got 3 running backs on his roster.
Yeah, yeah. You're either going Montgomery or Hunt, and if you want to play them both, that's your
Yeah.
flex spot too, right? And so like, and I don't know if that's the flex move there. We'll see. I mean, maybe he just hasn't updated his roster or his starting roster yet. And we'll see some creativity from him to exploit, hopefully exploit some matchups here, and pull out the win. But Alec has put up 110 points, in like 3 of the last 4 weeks, and so you got to think that that's going to be competitive in this matchup.
Yep.
So,
do you think Alec rolls with what he has out there right now, or do you, if you're Alec, do you roll the dice and throw Mike Evans out there? It looks like he's going to play.
Yeah, he is. He was activated from IR, so he is eligible to play. It is one of those. It is one of those sort of dart throws. I think you've got a couple guys that could, in theory, make a splash, right? So like, you've got Olave there, who I think you could. I mean, is that who you pull? Do you pull Olave or do you pull Myers?
I'm not sure.
I think Olave has had 3 touchdowns the last 3 weeks. I think since joining the Jaguars, and has had plenty of targets, and I think will continue to have that. And then Olave, it's just like the quarterback play's not great. If he doesn't score a touchdown, he's not getting the points for you. It's hard. I think Olave is probably the more talented player between, not really the more talented, but probably will get most looks. But then you got Jerry Jeudy heating up in the last week, and playing a Chicago defense that's obviously very beatable. But it's also supposed to be like -20 wind chill in Chicago this weekend. Going to be an awful game for I think quarterbacks and wide receivers in terms of just being able to even catch the ball. But I think he's got a bunch of dart throws. And DJ Moore's on his team, who's just been god awful. But I feel like there's been a lot of talk in the Chicago sports scene, and even BJ has come out and said like, hey, like, what are we doing? Like, DJ Moore was our number 1 wide receiver. He's our best wide receiver, that on the field last week, and we got him 3 targets. Like, it's just not, it doesn't make sense, but it also doesn't make sense why a head coach would say that. He's clueless as to why his top receiver's not getting the ball. It's like, you're called the plays, bro. But Mike Evans, you think Mike Evans is going to have a big day?
No, I mean, I just bring it up to kind of throw it out there as a possibility. I mean, I personally, I would probably be much more receptive to. I could probably talk myself into starting Mike Evans if he wasn't playing tomorrow night or on Thursday night. That is a tough first round of the playoffs. Have your first guy go, and it's a guy that hasn't played in 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I don't know if I'd be able to stomach that and watch him put up, whatever. It would be hard to pull the trigger on that. So, all right, you want to make a prediction as to who's going to win this game?
Man. That's tough. It's tough. I think I'm gonna go Doug. I think Doug is going to oh, man. No, I'm going Alec. I'm going Alec.
You're going Alec. Okay.
I'm going Alec. I gotta go Alec. I can't bet against Josh Allen. I gotta go him. But I think we'll see what happens. Thursday night is gonna be huge for Doug too.
Yes.
With
He's got
Bijan
Robinson going. Yeah. I will go Doug. I will go Doug in this case. But I also think I agree. I think there's a real possibility that Alec wins this game.
Good. I'm taking Alec. You're taking Doug.
Yes, we will. That's how we'll break it down. All right, let's move to the other game this weekend. The other game of consequence. You versus Steve. Veggie Sausage Fingers versus the Disruptor, who really has disrupted. We touched on Steve's team a bit earlier, but John, how are you feeling going into this game? How confident are you?
Not super confident. I feel like I've got a lot of question marks right now. But I feel somewhat confident, provided CeeDee Lamb plays, right? CeeDee Lamb having his concussion last Thursday, so he gets that extra time, and it seems like he is progressing well. So we could see him cleared. Usually it's like that 8, 9, 10 days after a concussion that the play gets cleared. So the extra time is super helpful. Provided he plays, which it's Sunday night. So that's also very helpful that he will have, most of the day Sunday to work through whatever, concussion protocols that he has to go through. And then I've got him in my flex right now so that if he doesn't go, I still have Metcalf who can play, despite him having a stomach issue that he stayed overnight in wherever he was playing last week. He stayed overnight in Baltimore. For some random stomach issue, and so very
odd. Another case of appendicitis.
I don't know. This is a ridiculous situation that my fucking players continue to have abdominal injuries that are unrelated to football. This is some sort of fucking conspiracy. I don't know. Is the fucking Steve sending these fucking players a bunch of cheese to eat, and then he's getting stomach aches? I don't understand what's happening.
It's the food poisoning.
Yeah. So that does concern me. But provided CeeDee Lamb plays, I feel pretty good. Obviously, my quarterback situation is the position I'm least confident in at the moment. Stroud has looked better over the last 2 weeks or so, but sort of better, but also.
Well, he had a tough matchup. He had a tough matchup last week, and he has a tough matchup this week as well. So it should. You have to go with Stroud, or at least I assume you're going to go with Stroud over Brissett, but especially given Brissett's playing Houston.
That's kind of my issue here is Brissett I would but it's a tough match. No one's played well against Houston, so
yeah. But I will pick you for this game. I do think Steve has a chance, but there are the CMC playing Tennessee.
That'd be good.
That has the potential for things to get out of hand very quickly for Steve. So that is one of the things that would really, and I'm sure it worries Steve. That's one of the things that would worry me, is that matchup right there. Josh Jacobs, I can see Josh Jacobs getting bottled up, and we'll see what happens. I mean, like Jacobs and Pittman both have tougher matchups, and it's a coin toss for Brown in terms of what's going to happen from week to week. But he's been, he got the message across to whoever he needed to get it across to, and he's gotten more involved. So I think even if CD doesn't play, I think you're still the favorite. And I would, if CD does play, yes, that's who my money would be on. But that, I don't think it should take away anything from what Steve has done this year. Nico is an interesting player to look at. Like, Nico has quietly been really fucking solid this year.
Yeah,
it's been interesting to see, because he was a guy that I think he went in the first round, maybe back end, late first, early second in a lot of leagues this year. And I think early on in the season, people were kind of frustrated. He had some low scoring games. Stroud wasn't playing very well. But he's been pretty solid here of late, and his targets have been good. Collins could have a big game. And
one thing I will say with Collins is, like, when Stroud was playing early in the season, he had touchdowns. For Collins did, and when Stroud was out, Collins' production obviously dipped a little bit, but obviously was still very good as far as like targets and yards, but the touchdowns weren't coming in. And so I could see, down the stretch here, Collins' touchdowns, coming back up. And so that could lend himself to a monster game this week, which obviously would be unfortunate. But I think, that's been a player for Steve that, obviously has been really, really good. And so, he's also got Monangai in there, which I like. In that cold weather game, we could see that happening. And then, I think otherwise, his spot here, his weakest position, I think, is running back, obviously. Starting Harvey and Aaron Jones. So if he gets a good game out of either of those, then I think, obviously, a bit of trouble.
His tight end is not great either.
But his tight end's probably also.
But yeah, I think Aaron Jones, Steve's path to victory is a big game from May. A solid outing from Harvey, which I think we saw in the back half of the Green Bay game last week, that Monangai ended up
more carries than Swift did, for sure.
Well, what I'm trying to say is, like, the Bears did not move the ball at all in the first half of that game.
Yeah.
But he ended up with, solid stats, like 57 yards, isn't bad. And so I think there are ways to run against that Green Bay defense. And so it's certainly possible that RJ Harvey finds some room and, has a big game. But I think that's sort of the path to victory for him. I'm going to take you. Are you going to take yourself?
I'm going to take myself. I have to take myself.
Okay. We will see what happens. We have the intriguing possibility, if things fall, if the cookie crumbles in a certain way, to have the semifinals of the brothers, I guess, next
Yeah.
week. It could end up being me versus you and Ken versus Doug. The Hoffman Bowl and the Rose Bowl could be the semifinal matchups.
Yeah.
Which maybe we'll have to get both of them on next week if that's what happens. We'll see. It's
Yeah. It's playoff time, baby.
It's shaping up to be an exciting finish here. We'll see what happens.
Yep. I'm pretty stoked to be here. I think, regardless of what happens, playoff time in the RTFL is a fun time. And so, hopefully we just have some good matchups, and we have some we have some good action going into Sunday night or Monday night. I think those will be the best times. And so, good luck to everyone. Good luck to everyone. Right?
Indeed. I will also say that I realized this week that Rhett, my son's birthday, every year will fall on the first round of the playoffs for fantasy football. For the most part, it's gonna be pretty, in and around that time, which I'm very thankful that this year it does not come into play. We're having his little birthday party on Sunday, so I'm fortunate for that I won't be worrying about fantasy football during his birthday party.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for you, Rhett, if you're listening to this sometime in the future, actually, you know what? I'll just apologize for future me, who was quite possibly distracted in some later year of your life. But you know what? I don't make the playoffs that often in this league, so
or any league. But
that's not true. All right.
I just assumed.
Anything we missed? I don't think so.
I think, the consolation bracket, good luck to everyone. I think it's just bragging rights this year. I don't know, maybe the consolation bracket gets together and maybe propose some sort of either compensation or some sort of prize. I'm not sure what we would institute as far as a prize goes, or punishment, right? We could do
a punishment.
I was talking to a buddy at work the other day, and he said that the loser of the consolation bracket, if you lose, you advance, right? And the ultimate loser has to get a tattoo of the league emblem. So
good.
We could institute that.
Yeah, well,
little rose in a football.
Yeah, I would love for Kramer to get a rose tattooed on his ass.
Yeah. Location of your choice.
All right.
Just throwing it out there.
We'll see what we come up with. All right, I think we did it. For Brother John, for myself, for the playoff teams, good luck out there. This has been the RTF Show.
Where's my red jacket? Wait, where's my other red jacket? I should have two red jackets right now. Where are they? Whitney!